8 years ago, I built my very first PC. Unfortunately, a few months ago it stopped working, and after 3 days of attempting to fix it and having a bunch of deadlines coming up, I decided to build a new one. Let's go over the parts. For the CPU, I went with the Ryzen 9 5950X. This is Ryzen's top processor before jumping up to Threadripper. It's a huge upgrade from my old PC, and should be able to handle any video footage I can throw at it. To cool the CPU, I picked up a Noctua air cooler. I ran AIOs in the past, but I have had 2 pumps fail on me over the past few years, and this being a workstation PC, so having it running is more important than the few degrees of performance I could gain. For the motherboard, I went with Asus's ProArt X570 Creator motherboard. This motherboard is a bit expensive, but it has a lot of features for content creators. It has 3 M.2 NVMe slots that, most importantly, do not share bandwidth with SATA ports, although one M.2 does share bandwidth with a PCIe slot. It also has plenty of I/O to plug in all of your accessories, and the most important feature to me is that it has Thunderbolt 4 and 10 gig LAN, making it very easy to add fast additional storage when I need it. For RAM, I went with 2 32 gig sticks of G.Skill 3600 MHz. This will give me a total of 64 gigs, and I went with 2 sticks so I can upgrade to 128 gigs in the future if needed. For storage, I picked up a few M.2s and a 4TB SSD, and I'll also be reusing some hard drives as well as some fans from my old PC. For the power supply, I picked up a Corsair 850 watt modular power supply. For the case, I decided to go with Lee's LandCool Mesh 2, and I got the RGB version. This case is always near the top for reviews when it comes to performance and price. It also fits well with the theme I plan on doing for this build. Lastly, the GPU. I spent months trying to get a graphics card near MSRP, but after a few months of trying, I was forced to pick up one on Amazon so that I could meet my deadlines in time. And for this build, I decided to let my wife help me because she has never built one before. So let's get into the build. And it didn't start. Normally, I run a test bench, but for some reason this time I didn't. After testing the parts, I narrowed it down to either the motherboard or CPU was DOA. So the next day, I headed to Micro Center and exchanged both of them with no issues. While I was there, they also had the black version of the Noctua cooler, as well as the Fantex P30 fans. So I picked up a few fans and the cooler. While I was driving, Linus Tech Tips came out with a new video explaining that if you're running 30 series graphics cards, that you should be running a 1000 watt power supply instead of an 850 watt, because the 850 can cause your system to crash when under load. So I picked up a 1000 watt power supply, and I'll use the 850 watt for another build. When I got home, I also received all the parts necessary so I can theme my PC. So let's try this again.
You're a wizard, Harry.
There were once 3 brothers who were traveling along a lonely, winding road.
Mischief.
Twilight approached.
I hope you enjoyed this build video. I've been using this PC now for a few weeks and the performance difference is huge compared to my old PC. It still does struggle a little bit with a lot of 422 footage, but it's already saved me so much time when editing. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you're interested on what and how I set up the Harry Potter theme for this, stay tuned because I will be posting a video going over all my decisions in a future video.